Hello, I'm Laura Caruso with the Florida Family Policy Council. Here in Florida, we consider ourselves ground zero in the fight against Common Core, largely because the promoter-in-chief of the standards is our former governor, Jeb Bush. Also here in our state, we've been front and center in observing the techniques that are employed to thwart any real opposition to the Common Core agenda. I want you to understand that just because your state has passed a Common Core review bill or your governor has issued an executive order, Common Core interests are powerful and they're not going to give up without a fight. You're in a real David and Goliath conflict here, and the primary strategy of your opponent is something called rebranding. Let me explain how that's played out here in Florida. A little less than a year ago, as Common Core opposition grew in our state, our Governor Rick Scott responded to those concerns with several executive orders. One of the executive orders called for public hearings across the state and a period of public comment on the already adopted Common Core standards. Although we had record citizen input, it soon became very clear that these hearings were really nothing but a sham, and that our unelected, unaccountable Board of Education, our administration, and legislative leadership were all committed to advancing the Common Core agenda. Supposedly, based on the input that they received from our citizens, our Board of Education then proposed a quote-unquote new product that they billed as the Next Generation Sunshine State Standards. However, these are the Common Core standards. If you hold up our Next Generation Sunshine State Standards, that new product, line by line, they are 99.1% identical. Common Core is the Next Generation Sunshine State Standards. However, they adopted that new name at their Board of Education meeting in the spring. That's what I mean by rebranding. They sprinkle a few minuscule changes in and then change the name. Our legislature then passed a bill for which some of them are actually patting themselves on the back, where they said, we're removing Common Core from your state. Well, what they did is they struck the phrase Common Core 37 times from state statute. They removed the label without removing the product. Folks, in the real world, that is called false advertising, deception, rebranding. Our governor also removed us from the PARCC test, which was the Common Core aligned, federally funded test that was being developed by many states. But he turned right around and hired a testing firm that would develop an assessment based on our new Florida standards, which, as I've submitted to you, are 99.1% Common Core. So we have Common Core standards under a new name, and we have a Common Core aligned test under a new name. The Common Core agenda is alive and well in the state of Florida. Those are the kinds of things that you're going to have to be very watchful for and discerning in the months to come in your states. Scripture calls on us to be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves, and in that vein, I have a couple suggestions for you. First, don't be fooled by firmly worded statements, preambles, and resolutions that in one line wave the flag of state sovereignty, but then in the actual action items of the legislation or the executive order undermine that state sovereignty. Also, find out who is appointing the members of these standards review commissions and use your political clout to recommend folks that you know will stand firm against the Common Core agenda, and see if you can't get them assigned to those review commissions. You can continue to educate yourself on the issues of Common Core at CWA's website on the Issues link under Education. If you've not done so already, join a Stop Common Core group that is in your state through Facebook or whatever, so that you can be aware of what's happening at the local level and be most effective. Also, in just a few days, the Family Research Council will host a live free webcast, July 30th at noon. Again, it's free to register, and I highly recommend it. frc.org is where you register. Folks, this is not a political game. There is much on the line. As Abraham Lincoln very famously said, the philosophy of the schoolroom in one generation will be the philosophy of government in the next. The hearts and minds of our young people are on the line, as is the future of our very republic. May God bless you as you continue to stand in the gap, to stand for right, and to oppose Common Core.